kick it off with AI agents on the grind, spitting circuits, flipping scripts, rewiring the mind. Tech wave tsunami calculation so divine, bringing bits and bytes, coded life intertwined. Bass junkie holding it down with the sound. Current trends gotta spin until the earth ain't round. From fashion to memes, what's hot and what's found, delivering the truth with a rhythmic rich sound. GM Radio, where you get the flow. Heavy bass junkie, wanna know it's Chef Yo. Dropping knowledge bombs, watch the wisdom grow. Tune in, lock in, welcome to the show. GM Radio, where you get the flow. Heavy bass junkie, wanna know it's Chef Yo. Dropping knowledge bombs, watch the wisdom grow. Tune in, lock in, welcome to the show. Motor know with the crypto, watch the market rise. Blockchain dreams, decentralized skies. From Bitcoin to Ether, catching the eyes. Navigating wallets where the currency lies. Chef cooking up wisdom, sauteing with finesse. Mixing AI trends and crypto success. Flavor-packed insights, more than you guess. Tasting knowledge daily, it's a mic finesse. GM Radio, where you get the flow. Ready bass junkie, wanna know it's Chef Yo. Dropping knowledge bombs, watch the wisdom grow. Tune in, lock in, welcome to the show. GM Radio, where you get the flow. Ready bass junkie, wanna know it's Chef Yo. Dropping knowledge bombs, watch the wisdom grow. Tune in, lock in, welcome to the show.
Yo, and welcome to this episode of GM Radio, brought to you by your boy Bass Junkie, Old Gravy, and Mono. Later on the show, we are going to have the technical analyst, the savant himself, Miles Burke. But before then, let's show some love to the project. Let's show some love to the builders who are building on the red days. And guys, you know what to do. Smash that purple pill in the bottom right of your screen. Retweet. I don't even care if you want to unretweet it later. Let's get some people in here. Let's get Elon working for our bags, and let's get the algo working for us. Now, without any further ado, let's pass it over to the first co-host of the night, Gravy. What's going on, my man? Gravy, you're muted.
We were here. Looking forward to this call. Been a great week. Crazy stuff happening, and I think every week from here on out in 2025, crazy stuff's going to be happening. So I'm glad to be here. Thanks for the warm intros, Bass Junkie. And yeah, how you doing, Monono?
How we doing, motherfuckers? I'm good, man. I'm doing really good. Just chilling, waiting for Bitcoin to pick up. Otherwise, I'm doing well, man.
I think all of crypto is right there with you in the Bitcoin 100K waiting room.
Yeah, man. I'm in the 200K waiting room, to be honest. I don't care about the pop here. I'm just like waiting for 110K, 120K pop. It's gonna be a party, man. It's just a matter of time. Everyone knows it.
Exactly. And now tell me, Monono, do you think we're gonna see Bitcoin? Are we going to see that pop in February, or do you think it's going to be later in the year?
Right. Initially, I thought it was going to be February. That's what I thought last year. Like, we're going to have a cool down because Trump is not going to push it directly, right? I mean, late December, I thought it was going to happen. I mean, last year, it was just like, it was on a good momentum, but I don't think anyone expected 100. I don't think anyone expected the range to be between 95 and 105. That was not my expectation. I thought it was going to be like 120 to 150. It was going to range a bit up there, like way above all-time highs. I guess this is well above all-time highs. I guess the last peak was like 69, 70.
Yeah. I mean, we've been above the previous cycle all-time high for quite a while. And we are, as you say, like ranging between like the 95 to the 105 range. And it's kind of funny because like now we're at 98K. Now, if you ask anybody in crypto 6 months ago, if you told them like, hey, in February we're 98K, they're like, holy shit, that's amazing. But the sense, it's pretty flat right now. What are your thoughts, Gravy?
I mean, I think it's very possible to have a negative, a very rough month or two here. A lot of stuff is priced in. I don't know. It's very doomsday in my mind a little bit. Like, I think people should be careful. I know a lot of people probably don't want to hear that. But stuff's always priced in my opinion. And we're not like people that are buying are going to want it at a good price. And I think that's, yeah.
It looks like Binance is the one selling. This line is Binance compared to
Not just Binance, bro.
OKX,
All of them
Kraken,
are
Qcoin, Coinbase. Yeah, but Binance is selling $300 million, and the other
They're
one
dumping their reserves. They're dumping.
No, I mean Bybit is buying. Bybit is buying just to buy 1 million, but the rest of it, they haven't sold 250, 300K in total, and Binance is dropping 300 mil. Sorry, not K, mil.
So Manona, are
This
you
is
able to share a screen that like on your computer?
Yeah, it's a Runner XBT. It's showing it. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, I mean, in the meantime, I mean that's kind of interesting to hear about, especially because last week we saw that the World Liberty Financial, they were buying the ETH dip. They bought ETH at 2100, and then the very next day, I mean, I think they bought like 100,000 Ethereum, and then the next day they sent like over 100 mil to Coinbase, which is like, why would they do that? I mean, could be reasons, but one of those reasons is potentially to sell.
Why would they buy to sell directly? I don't think that sounds like a reasonable plan.
I mean,
that's kind of weird, being pro crypto and then buying to sell a few days later or weeks. I don't know.
I mean,
think so.
It's only one of the options. I mean, they could have just sent the money to Coinbase to so that people weren't following the wallets or tracking all the financials.
There is other options. There is a security option. They don't want to handle all of the money, so they are diversifying their placements. It could also be that Coinbase is paying them off, like, hey, I'll give you $1 million, use as a wallet.
Valid points.
We will never know because everything is not on the blockchain. Eventually, maybe future, every ad and marketing thing will be on the blockchain, so everyone can see and review and everything be transparent. But right now, the world is a shady place. People are doing deals under the table, and never know what's up.
Speaking of never know what's up and shady deals, guys, so in the title of this show is JAILSTOOL. Like, I mean, this is like captivated the world by storm. Dave Portnoy, like I think it's hilarious the naming of it. Like, he seems to have dived 2 feet into crypto, gone all in, and like man, it's kind of been funny to watch his journey. Gravy, I know you mentioned that you actually you bought the JAILSTOOL token.
Yeah, I've been in and out. I'm one, and this is probably more of a flaw than it helps, but I'm one to like kind of always assume something's orchestrated and conspiracy. Like, I'm a big conspiracy theorist. I don't always believe them, but I always enjoy like listening to them and kind of finding like the sources of them and like why they believe that. And so this one, I hopped in pumped. I missed it by like 45 minutes. Pumped, came back down, and usually you just kind of avoid those. But then like 40 minutes later, I saw Choose Rich, like Nick O'Neill, put some video out about it, and I ran and dumped the bag into it. And I probably caught it by like maybe 15 seconds. And then it just kept going, just kept running and running and running. I took a little bit of profits. I didn't have like a crazy bag, but it definitely felt good. And then now that it's back down, I kind of just been observing it because I was invested in the story, and I'm back in, and it just started pumping again like crazy. and I have a lot of thoughts, and I've been DMing a lot of people about it. But like, I think this is all planned. It's all planned out. And Portnoy wouldn't put his, first of all, he wouldn't be going all in on something if he like,
Isn't it rug? You mean?
yeah, like I don't think he's going to rug. Now, like, could he be like having side wallets and selling off? Like, sure. Could he be like really milking the community? Sure. But I know his personality type, and I do think some of what he's saying is genuine, where he is a degenerate gambler, and I think he has an ego to like where he won't let this fail. Now, a lot of people will be like, it doesn't matter, like the market that makes the decision, but it kind of does matter, because he has so much. He can probably make a single phone call and get someone to invest $1 million, right? Like he has he's made it. He gets paid a fuck ton from DraftKings. He has major connections. And then, so that's like just one, that's just like emotional feelings, like kind of just speculating on the narrative. But then you like see how much the Choose Rich team, how much like the Bodogos team is marketing for it for free, right? And like those guys would cover a story if it was hot and continue to cover it. But to me, it doesn't make sense that they just, like, all of them are just kind of posting on it, you know? And it's consistent. It's like, the pumps often come after the videos. Like, it just seems like it's a broader thing, which isn't a bad thing, right? Like, Dave Portnoy has a lot of influence. He has a major onboarding crew of like all the sports betting people that follow him. Like he's from he's from Philly. Like you can tell his grind, and he is just grinding in the sports world. And most of his fans are that, right? And a lot of those sports fans, those bettors, they aren't involved yet. And I think that like there is a narrative there, and they're pushing that narrative, but I think that that's a valid narrative.
I think that's a really valid point, actually, because we see these celebrity pump and dumps and these celebrity coins, and you kind of think like, who's their fan base? I mean, like, it was kind of crazy to see the Hook Tour coin go as far as it did. Like, I think it reached like 200 million, which is just nuts, like absolutely farmed. But you see these other coins, like the Jason Derulo had a coin, and like Pump Baby and Lil Pump, and you see them go like 10 mil, 20 mil, and it's like, you think like, who's their fan base? Whereas like teenagers or people have a bit of nostalgia, maybe aren't really like well capitalized. But then on the flip side, you take someone like Dave Portnoy, who you say is, like sponsored by DraftKings and has gamblers, like a large gambling following, basically. So people who will bet on sports games. I mean, crypto is a lot of it has similar risks to sports betting. So you can see why it has a lot of overlap in terms of with DJing followers. But what I'm interested in is like, so I mean, I'm European. I woke up the next day and it happened again. The PTSD of missing the Trump coin, missing the Vine coin. It happened again. I was like, oh, these American coins. But
this one was a tough one, though. It was a tough one to buy in, and I didn't share it with people because I was trading on emotion. Like Manono always tells me, don't trade on emotion, and I've been very good at not doing that this last 2 weeks. But when you see something that you kind of just know how it works in the back end of things, as soon as I saw Nick put that video out, like, why would he put a video out after it dumped? And it seemed very informative, not like, I don't know. I just got the vibe. I got the feeling. I got that, like, hey, this is going to be a narrative they're going to push, and they just kept pushing it, and they're still pushing it. And I don't know. I don't think it's done. Like, I wouldn't still be in it heavy if I didn't think it could go up. But I've been talking to a lot of people that maybe would know more than me, and they're not convinced. So I'm very
Skeptical.
cautious.
Yeah, I mean, I watched. I haven't seen the Bodoggos guys videos about it, but I was watching a little bit of Dave Portnoy's videos in the beginning, talking about launching this token and how he was having fun trading, asking people, was like, "Would I go to jail for this kind of thing?" Like, if I told everyone I'm gonna sell, like I'm just a trader,
So,
did it just pump?
since our talk, it's going up 25%.
Man, you got to tell me about these calls beforehand. But hey, maybe the people listening all bought in heavy.
I doubt it. Like I said, it was a tough narrative to buy into because their marketing tactic was to FUD it. Right? And like when I see FUD, I always assume it's planned at first until I figure out whether they deserve the FUD or not. And the amount of FUD, like orchestrated FUD coming from like very specific people consistently, like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like that's,
so the the Bodoggos guys, were they fudding?
kinda, yeah. Like, so Nick, Nick, like he's funny. His videos are hilarious. Like he put out just a couple of videos, just kind of like roasting Portnoy a little bit, and then they will give him advice that he won't take, and then he'll call them like retards or bozos or something, and then people will like ride on that, like, oh, Nick versus Dave, and like Dave called Nick a bozo, and Nick, and then yeah, it just feels
Coordinated.
Do you know politics and the media the last 4 years in the US, and you'll have like the one side of the media that will just repeat the same like 4 words.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like almost like they got an email, be like, hey, today's phrase keywords are this. Like make sure you say it over and over again.
Sharper than ever.
It feels like that kind of, where they're like planning and like planning it all,
Could well be, man. I mean, I'm getting fed. I'm actually just buying half a soul now. Like I don't like charts that look like this. Like I don't like buying into charts that look like this. But hey, I mean, gamble half a soul. Like, why not? Let's join the party. Because I like a few days ago, where was this? This was like hundreds of millions.
It has not hit its all-time high yet.
No, I see. So yeah, all-time high was 225 million. Now I remember that in the initial videos he was talking about, like, he's like, I'm not selling till 500 mil. Like has he stuck to that? Like, or like has he taken some profits?
I mean, people are claiming that he's selling off on side wallets, but the guy, he actually claimed he'll put 100,000 of his own money in at each 100 million market cap.
But he's putting I haven't followed along all of this, but putting a 500 mil or a 1 billion market cap target, it caps the upside of a coin, because he did kind of good. You're muted.
I think he's just listening to you.
Yeah, he was talking to someone else, maybe.
Sorry, I was talking to my son. He came up.
Yeah, I'm good. So he's capping the upside of a token. Why is he doing that? Why is he saying we're running this to 500 mil or a bill? That's a really bad tactic.
Yeah.
No one's gonna buy when it gets close. It's gonna be like, fuck it, dump.
Right. And I've been fooled once before, so this would be fool me twice if I fell for it. But can't get fooled again.
Can't get fooled. Fool me once, can't get fooled again.
But the first time it was the same thing. He's like, I'm going to put more money into it each time the market cap goes up, and then the market cap never went up. So it's yeah.
Also, I mean, for him to say every 100 mil, I'm gonna put in 100 grand. It's like I think he like showed one of his wallets. Like it was like $6 million of tokens at X price, and it's
Jesus
like,
Christ.
if he's making a few million every 100 million that it goes up, like 100 grand isn't really that big a deal, like
No.
percentage wise. You're muted if you're talking to us, Gravy.
Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, it looks. I don't know. He's looking at the screen. I think he is talking to us, but he might just be having. But I mean, yeah, I mean, Monona, like, if he has one side wallet, like literally, he could just have like a side wallet and dump 100 grand and then buy 100 grand publicly. Like
He could buy.
we've seen that before.
Yeah, he could dump 500K and buy 100K. Like no one knows, and like it still look bullish and like he's doing the right thing. But yeah, no one knows. He could have 10 wallets that he sweep before he started chilling or pumping a coin.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. I had a cancel a bunch of pizzas that we ordered for a pizza party that we're getting snow in our area, and it was like last minute cancel, and I had to call and cancel right away. But yeah. I agree, it feels like a weird tactic. What I think is that they'll change the narrative when they get close. If they're going to do it, if it's going to be anything. But I mean, I always I'm taking profits along the way, making sure that I'm not round tripping this. Yeah, there's a lot of lessons that you got to learn the hard way.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it's gone up a bit more. So I got in at 85 mil, top blasted, now up 9%, 13.
Nice. I need to take a call. I'll be right back.
It's a crazy day in everybody's world. But yeah, man, I think that it's a fun narrative. I think that it's a high upside. Someone was posting that it's just like one of those that just has a lot of upside. And then there's one other influencer that's been promoting. So it's like they're almost playing good cop, bad cop. That was like my last kind of piece of thing that narrative that I noticed was I think it's like some other influencer is like positively posting and saying that they're getting behind it. Actually, a lot of like mini KOLs are doing that. You'll see, but I think it's a fun narrative. I think that has potential. I think that they also purposely fudded it to avoid mass. Like if they were like, Dave Portnoy's doing this coin and we're doing all this stuff, and they didn't FUD it, it would have just gone up, and then people would have dumped on people. A lot of people would have gotten wrecked. But instead, it kind of has been up and down for a couple days until just 20 minutes ago. And it's almost like it's like a new method of fair distribution. Like get in, you dump all over the snipers, you shit all over them, right? And then you buy back after they get out because they pay per hand. They're like, oh, fuck, I got rugged. And then you buy back, and then you just slowly trickle off your supply at a low market cap to let people get in at a fair price and then let it run. And I think we're going to probably see a lot more of this style. And the other style is like more like a pre-sale where everybody puts in and you kind of get more of a fair distribution at launch. Everybody has they're all in at the same price. And yeah, I mean, that's still prone to dump too, but I think that we'll see more of that.
Yeah, I mean, the whole pre-sale meta, it's a double-edged sword. I think DAOs can be very, very powerful in helping people get in at a fair price. But talking about pre-sales, did you see this one that happened recently? I didn't even follow up. Did you see a pain token?
Oh yeah, I mean, I faded that so hard because it was, I mean, the initial tokenomics just didn't make sense. The more money they raise, the less allocation you got. So I just saw it going up. I'm like, man, this is not going to end well. And then that 80% refund was just like, oh man, everybody's gonna win now.
Wait, so hang about. So what was this 80% refund?
So they raised so much money that instead of just allocating based on everybody's amount, they gave everybody 80% back of what they sent.
And the tokens.
And I don't know if they dropped the token yet. So I haven't followed because I'm not really in the game, but yeah, they sent everybody 80% of their funds back. And a lot of people are speculating that insiders knew that because there were some people that just sent massive, massive bags, and even like kind of put a narrative around it, like, oh, I don't care, I'm just going nuts. It's like you wouldn't really do that if you know what I mean. Like, you're smart. So I think there's some insider stuff going on there, but I think the marketing was exceptional. Like, that guy's story is awesome. Like, he just has that that pain look, his smile is just like so painful.
Is he actually a part of this?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You see his story. He's a Hungarian stock photo artist, and he didn't even realize that he was going viral until people out in public started asking him to take pictures with him.
And
then,
like, can you smile, but not a happy smile?
That just people in public were like, can I take a selfie with you? And he'd be like, yeah. Like, he knew he did stock photos, so he just kind of thought it was from that. But he's like, it started happening more and more, and to the point where I couldn't even go out. So he Googled himself. He did a Google Lens image of himself, and then started seeing all the memes. And I don't think he liked it at first because it was like kind of making fun of him. But then he realized like how actually like his personality was actually making joy, like bringing joy to the world. And then he got behind it.
It's so funny, like some of these iconic memes can go for years without realizing they're a meme. Like another one is like, do you remember that big dick guy on the side of the bed? Like I think he died, like, and he never knew he was a meme. And then like his girlfriend or something, like years later, was like, hey, that's my boo. Like, what are you doing there with that on a t-shirt? Just wild. But I mean, hey, fair play to the pain guy. Like, Harold is his name, right?
Harold, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to him for, like, getting behind it, supporting it. So I'm just doing a little bit of a look. It says like it hasn't launched, but do not be fooled, guys. I had a little look over. I want to share screen just for a moment. Just maybe it's had a look at Dex Screener. You guys, you got to be safe. You got to be safe. So look, on Dex Screener, I type it pain. So you'll see some tokens, and you think, okay, I heard about this pain token. I see it on a few different chains. I mean, obviously these are derivatives that are, like, we often see this different, like, they piggybacking off the meta. We see one on Pulse. We see one on Base. I mean, what the heck is this? $657 million liquidity. Come off it! Like, this is too big. This is a scam. And this one as well, Solana, 15 mil. Okay, 9 mil liquidity, bit high, but it's possible. 7 days old. Well, yeah, I remember this was news last week. Okay, wait a second. $7 trading volume. So guys, like, when if you're looking at a token, just double check it. And look, this isn't a pump fund or anything. Like, this could have whatever in the code. So in fact, let me just
even if it has pump, it could be because you can choose your own contract address. So people can add pump to the end, I believe. I'm not sure about that, but I would always check two sources. Like, if you can find it on Twitter and then find the contract address on Twitter from the actual person, that's the best way.
All right. I'll hang about. So I'm used to checking honeypots on Base. So there are honeypot checkers, honeypot checker Solana. Let's have a quick look on that. So yeah, just go on detect honeypots. Let's have a look. Is this going to show me something again on? Okay. So this says it's not a honeypot. Interesting. But
Look,
what we're
can you go to the
seeing,
info?
I mean, this is the info. It doesn't say anything about.
Where's the
percentage.
liquidity? Where does it show the liquidity dollars? Usually it's on the right for me underneath the.
Which token? Oh, it's on the actual pain token. This
Yeah.
fake pain token. Yeah, I mean, look at this. Like, it says liquidity $9 million, volume $7.
There it is. Go down. Keep going down, and you can see $188 of Sol and 9 million of pain. So that's one of the first things I look right at the top, right there, right there. Yeah. Those two things right there. I always look at that first before I go anywhere else because it's right there. And if it's not an even match, then what they did is they put a bunch of the token in, and as people buy into the liquidity pool, they just dump their tokens from another wallet and steal any liquidity that's there. Or if the liquidity isn't burned, they can pull the liquidity out too. So there's two ways to do it.
Gotcha. Well, hey man, I learned something new. I appreciate that. I hadn't considered looking at the side here because that's a very, I mean, that's a sneaky way that they can get past these honeypot checkers because, the website I just showed about the honeypot checker, it's a way to see if there's whitelist, blacklist, because another way that these honeypots get you is they have like only a few wallets can sell. And obviously those are the scammers wallets. I mean, this chart's kind of interesting to see because I think it kind of highlights exactly what you just said. Like they're waiting for anyone to buy, and then they equally sell. They buy and they equally sell. I mean, I don't. This could just be like a little bit of market making to try and like entice some people, but
and if you see a token in your wallet that like you didn't have before, like so I did good on Trump and I had fake Trump tokens sent to me, like a lot of fake Trump tokens sent to me, and they all had like significant dollars listed on them. But you look at the 24-hour return, it's almost always zero. So you can see like the trend line, like the return is like steady because there is no up or down on the price. They just kind of like lock in the price, if that makes sense. It's kind of hard to explain, but the return is 0% usually.
See, I've seen some of them, and they have like a 100% sell tax, and it's like, yeah, it's just like a bit of I guess marketing. I don't understand like why they would. They expect me to buy some more of that token,
right? Well, I think that's it. I think people go by accident and just buy a little bit of it because they see it's in big wallets. So like if someone tracked my sniping Trump, Melania, and Vine, because I had to have been one of the only few people that hit all three of them. I got a ton of both of those, Trump and Vine, in my wallet, a ton of fake ones. And then people see that my wallet, and then they like see that I am holding those, and I'm not holding Trump anymore or Vine. They might think that it's the real thing. And they
speaking of,
yeah.
So go on. Or in fact, speaking of Trump, like the whole Trump token, right? So many people think that this whole Trump narrative, like killed the cycle, like stunted us early. I mean, it's the Melania one. Like, I mean, Trump was hella bullish, but then Melania came out, and it's like, what is this noise, right? I think it like frustrated a lot of people. Now, I think on one of our earlier episodes, you had a really interesting point, and I actually like repeated this to other people because I think it makes sense that Trump could create a an America First DEX. Like it would just
He is creating
make
that.
sense.
Like
But
he is. That's already like confirmed. Like that is what World Liberty Token is. If you read the gold paper, it is a US DEX. Like he's creating a DEX.
okay, now tell me, like, so before you were very bullish on Trump, and there's been other articles about how they want to support like American-made tokens, like this sort of stuff. Now you're saying that you sold Trump. Are you bullish long term, or are you off the Trump token bandwagon?
So I sold Trump to try to take advantage of the market, and it didn't work out very well. But I do not. So I don't think it's like only can go up. I know that there's 80%. That's like I think it's a 4-year play, a 3 to 4 year play. And I think we have plenty of time to start accumulating it, because as the 80% is unleashed, that's going to suppress the price, right? Like naturally, that's as more tokens hit the ecosystem. If there's not a reason to buy the token, then it's just going to go to zero. And I do think that they're going to let that happen, but they're going to be the ones buying it on the back end until the sell pressure is gone, at which point they have already accumulated their bag. And it's a 36-month vesting until it's all vested, but most of it is vested after 24. So I could see in about 24 months from today that the token is going to be utilized in a broader way after the Treasury has bought back a significant share of the supply.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of what you're saying about like similar to the like you're flooding the token or just letting it wither. I think right now the market is not bullish. There's a lot of bearish sentiment, even though we are in the middle of a bull run. I by no stretch do I think this market is over. Like I don't see that. Like, and I think like projects are just letting the price sort of dwindle so that diamond hands who want to push us for the long term can accumulate. So, guys, this is kind of like, not obviously everything's not financial advice, but if you are in long-term plays, conviction bags, don't get shaken out of your positions for like these quick flip tokens, because if your tokens lasted for the past however long, weeks, months, years, I mean, maybe not years, but like a year, like some tokens are a year old now, like some of these meme coins, and the community's still active, like best believe those are the builders that you want to be backing when the good times come again. So don't get shaken out of your positions, because stronger hands will be accumulating.
Yeah, and there's also something to be, well, two things. Like there's one strategy that can either work really bad against you or work really well for you, and that's DCAing. And there's nothing worse than saying, "Oh, I want to buy something," and let's say your grandma dies and you got 10 grand coming your way, and you're like, "I just really want to get into Bitcoin." One of the worst things you can do is just go buy 10K of Bitcoin. The price is just so up and down. Like now, if you know something's going up, get your money in there. But most of these coins are up and down, and they have 10% swings frequently. So unless you really are feeling like you're on the bottom swing, like take your time entering your position, because you might find a way better opportunity to do it. Like Trump, for example, like they're not going to pump Trump coin in the next 6 months, because why would they do that? Like people are just going to get more tokens and then dump them, and they're just paying people out at a higher price. So something like Trump, maybe it's a better strategy to buy like $20 a week, and for a year or something like that, and just see how it goes. And then you see a big dip, maybe put in $50. But your buy horizon's long, and yeah, you don't want to miss the boat, but missing a 30% like increase is way better than like taking a 50% cut on your initial position, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's good advice. I think that goes, for anyone in the audience here, dollar cost averaging is a way to ladder into positions and ladder out of positions, because as like hindsight's 2020. If we could all look back on and do trades a little bit different, held a little bit longer, sold a little bit sooner, we'd all be rich. We all have those stories. I mean, maybe in a minute, Gravy, you want to share one? I've got some sob stories in the chamber myself, but before that, like, yeah, DCAing in is a good strategy. So one strat that I like to do, I'm I'm better. I know what I should do, and I wish I followed my strategy better. But I'm a degenerate. Sometimes I get like a little bit too bullish, and like we are in a bull market, so I think it's good to be bullish. But try and keep 10% in stables. If you're able to keep 10% in stables, like if, for example, your portfolio starts off with a total value of $1,000, let's say, so you got $900. You divide that however you see fit. Low risks, medium risk, high risks, whatever your risk appetite is. Keep 10% in stables, right? So you got $100 in USDC or DT. And let's say your coins pump 50%, right? So the $900 is now worth 1350. Well, I mean, yeah, 1350. Your $100 is still $100. Okay, now rebalance it. Rebalance it so that you keep 10% in stables. So it doesn't have to be exact science. Be like, okay, I'm going to take some profits. I'm going to sell $150, let's say, into stables. So now you got 250 in stables and $1,200 in coins, and then it keeps going up. Just rebalance it every now and then, rebalance it every now and then. Keep that 90-10 split, because when the red days come, and they will come, they come like thieves in the night. Like you fall in love with your bag, and you fall in love with the size of your position, and the absolute highest you've ever seen it is usually the position size that you keep in your mind. And it's you always want to be chasing that all-time high wallet balance again. But when the red days come and your coins go down to $500, let's say, well, now you have $250 in stables. Rebalance it again, but the other way, and then you can buy more of those tokens at a cheaper price, and it's a way of reducing risk on both sides. When you're ready to scoop the dip, and you're accumulating to the stables, so that when the dip comes again, you're in a good position. Yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, you always want to have stables to take advantage of dips.
But yeah, Gravy, I saw you smiling when I was saying about these sub stories, this generational fades or like round trip or something. But yeah, bro, tell us what is your biggest L, or biggest L in crypto?
Well, it was a W with you on the Gutter Cat gang, but the story is that you and I both were able to get like one of the rarest ones, like just sniped them early on, and I had mine listed like right like during one of the Pico bull runs on the Gutter Cat gang, and I woke up and it was a 4.2 ETH sale, and I was pumped. But then I see it just continue to run, and then I see it sell in like 30 minutes later for like 6.9 ETH. And then like a day later, I see it sell for like 13.69 ETH. And, it was just one of those feelings that like you really should just be celebrating. But then you just see that someone make like a year's salary off of something that you could have just like gone to work and not listed your NFT, and then came home and made another
month salary.
Yeah, and that always sticks with me. And then you always, one of your sayings that you've always told me is just like I think your dad said you can never predict the top, And that's 100% the truth. So you got to be happy with your profits.
Yeah. I mean, something that I say more often than that is, no one ever went broke taking profits. So, I mean, it is a dub. And to be honest, I think my biggest fade is a similar sort of win, but could have been generational win, and that was the Bored Apes. Like I I minted 6 of those for $1,000, and in 5 weeks I sold all 6 of them for 30K, and people are like, "Wow, you're a genius." I'm like, "Yeah, pretty smart." And then I mean, I had PTSD from the previous cycle, like round tripping XRP from 2K to 25K back to 2K, and I was like, oh, never again. Fool me once, shame on you. But I'm like, the market, nah, nah, nah. This is 30K. It's nothing to sneeze at. Like, that's like a big deal. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I'm taking that to the bank. And then it just went on a mission to Pluto. Like the mutants came out, the kennels came out, and then when Ape Drop finally happened, and I calculated like my allocation was like $1 million of tokens. I was just like, ugh.
Well,
But
you told me to mint Bored Ape and I didn't. So,
yeah,
I still think you came out on top. I did get a mutant, but yeah, I remember those days, and we were so stuck in VV, and then those like those trees came out, those what were they?
bonsais.
Bonsai trees, and they were just like, everybody thought, man, this tech is, whew.
I don't even remember the tech. I remember buying a bunch, but
Well, there
at
was
the
no
close
tech.
in I mean that's the long and short of it. But hey, I saw, do you remember Zed Run?
Yes, I met the
Z
founder of Zed Run.
they're making a play on base now.
Are they?
Yeah, I thought they were like done, like extinct. But I think they're making a resurgence and coming to base.
Good for them. The guy was, when I met the dev, he was like, you would expect someone who just like built one of the biggest things on ETH. Like, it literally is like with the biggest thing on ETH for a while.
Huge, huge.
He was just like standing in the corner with his girlfriend, like not talking to anybody. And then the guy that invited me to his part, like kind of the New York event, was also a super, super nice guy, introduced me. And then, he was just like a normal, just really nice, kind guy. So I root for guys like that. Not a crypto bro douchebag as like some of the guys you might expect to be behind some of these things. He's just like a really nice, genuine guy. And so I support Zed Run and whatever they're building. And they did a really good job marketing and everything. So yeah, I'm excited to see them. Glad to hear that they're building on base.
I mean, what you're saying, I mean, it's great to hear. Like, it sounds like he's like a decent guy, and I root for decent people, and I root for builders. I say like the comeback is better than the setback. So if Zed, they had a great run, and then they felt the bitterness of the bear market. Like, I think the majority, in fact, like all NFTs felt that. I think Pudgy Penguins were probably the only one that were actually thriving. Like, they were moving up in the ranks. So I mean, and it's great to see everything that they've done. I think Abstract is bullish. Still waiting to see a bit more out of it. It kind of like sentiment kind of dwindled a little bit, but I see like Chill Pill. He's doing like a streaming on there, and they've got a platform for creators. So yeah, it seems like they are building. So I think for builders, ignore the noise and just keep building.
Yeah, it's an interesting narrative that's kind of coming out, like L1 or L2. And you kind of have the ETH maxis pushing L2s, but then other people are like L1. It just doesn't make sense to be on an L2. Like, L1s are better. So I don't have a strong opinion. I think that like it's more about the experience and what you do with it, because at the end of the day, I think like what Pudgy's trying to push is like you want it to be agnostic. You don't want a wallet. Like you want to be able to go to somewhere and just do something seamlessly and flawlessly, and you don't want to have to worry whether it's on L2 or L1. And we're not there yet. Like you still need to understand, like the Magic Eden wallet's great. It shows you all your assets in one place, but I can't bridge on there that I know of anyway. So I'm still like, I see my Bitcoin there, and I see my ETH there, and I see my Sol meme coins there, but that's just a visual. There's a website that I can do that on. So I think there's still a long way to go. And I think that like, I don't think it matters L2 versus L1 basically.
Yeah, I think I agree with the user experience is number one, because you want it to be as frictionless as possible. And this is where I give credit to the base team, like and the Coinbase wallet development. I think last week, in fact, Jesse Pollack was talking to the new head of development at Coinbase Wallet, and they were talking about implementing Farcaster into the wallet. Now, Farcaster, for those of you in the audience who don't know, it's another social media. It's if you want to download it, it's called Warpcast. I don't really understand why it's called Farcaster, but the app is called Warpcast. You got to pay a few bucks to get an account. It's a way of, I guess avoiding bots and funding the platform. But anyway, it seems to be a really like tech heavy community on there. So like if you want to have if you're a builder and you want to have conversations about on the level, lots of builders on there. A lot of stuff goes over my head, I'll be honest. But one thing that Coinbase Wallet is doing is that they've implemented a social feed into the wallet. So they're making it not just like super easy to get a wallet, super easy to get engaged with apps like dApps, but also now by implementing Farcaster into the wallet, they're making it like a bit of an everything hub. We have the social media feed as well.
Like would X be able to be ever put into that, or is it like, are they kind of?
I don't know. I don't think they would. I don't even think they would have ambitions to do that. I think Farcaster, the founder, is has connections to the Coinbase team. Like he was on the introduction video, so having like a well adopted like platform by developers and techie people who are building on Base. I mean, it's largely a lot. You see a lot of ETH people, a lot of Base people on there, but there's hundreds of thousands of accounts. It's not nothing the size of Twitter, but it's a very high concentration of people that I think are the right size to collaborate with Coinbase.
Yeah. Overall, on these like social media, like it all comes down to the algorithm and how valuable is that to the world, really. Like, and it's one of those things that like you don't even realize it's what makes the experience. But if you have a shitty algo, your social platform is going to struggle, because you're not going to get the right content in front of the right people, and people aren't going to spend as much time on it. And I don't really know much about Farcaster or Warpcaster, but I do know it was a big trend for a minute because I think influencers were able to get paid conveniently. And I remember some like D-list celebrity rapper from Philly who will grift 5 people at a time, was really pushing people to join his Warpcaster and stuff, and he didn't have anything to gain out of it. But
do you remember his name?
I don't want to blast him on here, but he's not that cool.
Can you name his shame? Because I might know who it is, not personally, but just.
Oh man, I don't like to shit on people. I'll DM you his name.
Okay.
He had a one-hit wonder from like 10 years ago that was a song about a famous rich billionaire boy.
Okay. All right. So
So if it's the same guy, it would line up. Miles probably knows who he is. Miles, I just realized you're on. What's up, dude?
What's up, man?
oh mate, like
Yeah, it's been a stressful day.
oh dude. Well, I mean,
Some of
hopefully
us actually work for a living, base junkie.
well, mate, I mean, hey, life is good. Like, I mean, I picked some oranges this morning. Kicking it with the homies now. I mean, life is good. I mean, always got to be building. But I saw you had your video on before. I understand you're at work. Are you like so? In the title, we have some daily TA. Now, I know you are the resident whiz on technical analysis and market trends. Um, are you able to share some insights with us today, or is it pretty full on where you are?
Nah, I mean, I have insights all day, every day. Yeah, so we have a very important week coming up. We have CPI tomorrow, which is the consumer price index. We have PPI on Thursday, which is the price index. Both are essentially they're both inflation reports, and the Fed tracks PCE is their main inflation report, but CPI is a pretty close second. So we'll get United States inflation data tomorrow. We'll see where we're at. We got a weak unemployment report last week. Now we got a really weak report as far as jobs created. However, unemployment did go down. I think if employment would have ticked higher, you would have saw Bitcoin go through the roof. So given the weak labor report last week, I'm expecting CPI to come in line or potentially a little soft. I think if you see a CPI number that comes in slightly below expectations, meaning inflation is cooling faster than what the Fed predicts it is, then I think you could really see crypto start to take off tomorrow. This will be an extremely important report. You'll see a major move, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that'll definitely shake markets up first thing in the morning. As far as what we've seen the past few days, I mean, you saw a pullback today. I don't think it's anything to worry about. We typically get, if you look at the last like 10 CPI reports, almost every single time Bitcoin sold off going into the report. So you go back like 10 months, you look at them, there were very few green days going into this report. So the sell-off today was nothing to worry about, just typical price action going into major economic data.
Miles, when you say sell off, are you referring to just the price, like the market cap going down, or are you referring to the centralized exchanges dumping their reserves? And the second piece was key. If you didn't know that, a lot of the centralized exchanges are especially Binance are dumping their Bitcoin reserves like really hard. Do you have any thoughts on that? Your mic is, you went silent on us.
I mean, I think I mean, the question was directed to Miles, but he's are you with us, Miles?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So the most important thing I've been looking at is that crypto market cap is holding the 3.16 trillion, no matter what gets dumped, no matter what has been happening as far as sell-offs. It has been holding that 3.1 trillion threshold. If you see crypto market cap break below 3 trillion, it hasn't broken that level since late November, roughly November 22nd. If it breaks that level, we could see a major correction. You could see, I don't see Bitcoin going below 78,000. It would fill a gap in the chart at 78,000. That is my absolute rock bottom. I do not believe it'll go that low. But if we do break 3 trillion, you could see it in the mid 80s. I think it'll be extremely temporary. And I think that it'll have a very, very, very quick recovery if that were to happen. I am still insanely bullish on this cycle. And a lot of what you've seen from Trump is, obviously everyone knows the tariffs have been causing panic. Investors seem to kind of be shaking them off now, but the one thing that is extremely bullish for not only crypto markets but equity markets as well is that Trump is doing everything in his power to keep the 10-year treasury yield below 5%. If it breaks above 5%, you could see stagflation in the United States. Things could get very ugly economically. So Trump has been doing everything in his power to keep that below 5%. We're about 4.5 right now. Trump wants it below 4 if he can get it below 4. And if he gets that below 4, you're going to see a breakout in crypto. You're going to see a massive breakout. So if you pay close attention to the 10-year treasury, you will see a breakout. And Trump is doing everything in his power to keep that low. Tariffs would make that skyrocket, which is why I think it's strictly a negotiating tactic. I don't think there's going to be much follow through with tariffs whatsoever.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, I mean, Sloth, do you have any thoughts on that first? Because I wanted to ask him one other thing that he commented on.
I mean, I think we will see quite a bit of stuff with tariffs. Personally, he seems to idolize McKinley, the tariff king, as he calls him. Yeah, I honestly I think like global politics, like the debt is so high. Like it's. I mean, I'm slightly talking out of my depth a bit, but like every country has so much debt. They need something drastic to change. You know, the US debt is out of control. Like the fact that so much of the taxpayer dollars goes towards the military, but then even more than that goes to just paying off the interest, and not even paying it off, just goes towards the interest of an accruing debt. Like they need to do something like a massive, like something drastic, and I think tariffs is a drastic enough measure that I think people are just sick of how things are getting. So it feels like a bit of a Hail Mary move. So I think he will follow through with the whole tariff wars, and I think it's going to cause a lot of uncertainty this year.
I could see certain countries being taxed. I think the Mexico-Canada tariff war was a bit of a thing, like a show, but like China, for example, we're getting a lot of our goods from China, and it's like just bad. Like we're getting, like, for example, like Nike shoes, right? How much does a pair of Nike shoes cost? And how much does it cost to manufacture? Right? And like, who's absorbing all of that profit? It's shareholders, one. And so why shouldn't the government tax shit like that? Like, it's just eating away. It's no one's going to pay more for the Nike shoes. Like, they've hit their sweet spot, their max dollar that people are willing to pay for these shoes. Nike has figured that formula out, and they're at it. So now the only thing to do is to make the shoes cheap, like make it better or make it cheaper. And if you start adding tariffs to the play, you're immediately going to cut into shareholder profits, and you're going to tank companies like Nike, which isn't a bad thing. Like, fuck Nike. Like, we don't need retail stores being like driving the economy. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, we should be having tech companies and like goods and like things that people provide that actually like we need in our life, not $100 overpriced sneakers. So I am kind of this, like, I don't give a shit about companies like Nike, and I would kind of like welcome the downfall. A lot of those overpriced, market manipulating, shareholder focused companies. I can't stand companies like that. I used to work for one, and I used to work for a company that we had profit margins above 25% on the regular every single year. We hit our targets every single year, but they still funded the bonuses at 90% every single year for a decade, because they put the shareholders first. So I am all for fucking over the shareholders. We've had a little bit too much of it. And I think tariffs impact that a lot more than people realize. I don't think it's just like passed down to the consumer. It gets passed on to the shareholder a lot, which could hurt our markets, but I'm going all over the place. But I think that like tariffs are definitely going to happen on some countries. I definitely think it's also like like an attention game that Trump's doing and trying to get attention out of it. But Miles, I wanted to ask you about the unemployment, and it seems like it's looking okay, but what's going to happen when 80,000, I think it was 80,000 government employees took the buyout, and like what's going to happen as we kind of downsize our public sector? I believe like a significant percent of American workers work for the public sector. So if we're eliminating, divisions and groups and kind of all these things are going away, isn't unemployment going to skyrocket, and isn't that going to drive some unsustainability?
I mean, are you talking about the impact AI will have on society, or are you talking about just a slightly higher uptick in unemployment?
I'm talking about how the Trump administration is probably going to lay off like hundreds of thousands of workers across the government, and I think it's going to trickle down to states, and it's going to trickle down to like tribes, like localities, like cities and whatever. We're going to see if like people going crazy and being transparent with finances, and people are going to start looking at that. And I think we're going to see a lot of people being laid off, and maybe it'll shift to being privatized. I'm not sure, but if hundreds of thousands of people are all laid off within 24 months who are more or less skillless because they had one job for 30 years, what's going to happen?
This is going to sound probably bad, but for markets, it would probably be bullish. If you see the unemployment rate tick higher and you see a weak labor market, that's exactly what the Fed needs to cut rates. So borrowing costs are going to drop dramatically. Your mortgage rates are going to drop dramatically. And by drop dramatically, I mean, we may see 5%. I don't think we'll go back to the, 2.9% that we saw, COVID era. But a tick higher in unemployment, if it right now unemployment's at 4%, roughly 6.8 million unemployed people. If you see a tick up to 4.5 or even 5%, you're going to see the 10-year drop. You're going to see mortgage rates drop, and you're going to see the stock market take off because the Fed's cutting. And it's sick that that's what you need to happen to see a Fed cut. But part of the reason the Fed's been holding and has been keeping higher for longer is because that's one of the ways to drive weakness through the labor market, because companies are left less profitable when their borrowing costs are higher. So if you saw the unemployment rate go high and not get out of control, if it goes to like 8%, that's horrible for the economy. But if it went to 4.5%, that's super bullish for the economy, for the Fed cutting rates, for crypto. You're going to see prices go much higher. And it sounds sick, but that's how it works.
I just saw that they have 2.3 million U.S. civilian employees, excluding the Postal Service.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, a few 100,000, I mean, it's definitely going to impact unemployment, but it's not going to have like a drastic effect on the labor force. And you assume that some of those people are going to find jobs, and probably most of them find jobs in the private sector. I'm not saying everyone, but
you're right.
honestly, some people may have been able to retire and probably have ridiculous pensions, and that could be why they're walking away maybe a few months, few years early. But back to our debt, we're going to pay about 308 billion in interest in the first quarter. We're going to pay about 1.2 trillion this year. In 2022, our interest payments were 476 billion, and that was a record. Now we've more than doubled that. And I heard something today that Trump was going to try to mark to market our gold, meaning that when the gold was put in the treasury, it was put in at 10 billion, and Trump was going to market at the current value of gold, which would put it at like 800 billion, and then he was going to inject capital into the treasury. If he did that, it would be absolutely insane, because they're trying to figure out like easy ways to kind of, what can we do for the debt. But I haven't done a ton of research on it. From what I've read, though, it did not sound good for markets if they do this.
Interesting.
but I'm not an expert on it. I literally heard it last night and I saw something today, and it seems crazy if he would go to these lengths to do something. They were also entertaining like 50-year and 100-year bonds, but ultimately, I think that obviously tariffs are a way to avoid like taxing people, which would be one of the ways he could help pay down the debt. But historically, tariffs have been incredibly bearish for markets, which is why I don't think he's implemented anything yet. I think that we do need to find a way to pay off our debt, because if we don't in the next year or two, our credit ratings are going to get downgraded again. We need to come up with a sustainable plan to pay down this debt. You can't pay $1 trillion in interest a year. It's laughable.
Yeah. Well, we got to start by being cash flow positive. And I think that's step one, right? Like, stop adding to the debt. And with a lot of these, like spending $1 billion a week on US aid, like, geez, like that's just to put that in perspective. That's like I did this math quick with my wife. So there's 350 million people in America, right? So 1 billion a week is about $3 per person. I have a family of 4. I'm paying $12 per week for US aid. Per year, I'm paying $600 for my family for what? Like, why is my family paying $600 in taxpayer money to fund US aid? It's ass. It's ass. You know, when you do the math, and like $1 billion a week is absurd. And you see like where the money was going, like people getting just crazy payrolls for like, just now I know why like actuaries don't make very good money anymore, you know, like it's all going to the top, tippy top. But cash flow positive, I think, is a good start. I think building the reserve is important. It's kind of like people always say you got to save. But I think crypto is the way to do that, and to do it strategically, not just Bitcoin. I mean, when you're buying, if we just do Bitcoin, we're just buying other people's Bitcoin bags. That's why I have a firm belief that the Trump token and Melania token will actually be something important. And I think that they're going to be used as some sort of like addition to the reserve, and it'll put a small dent. It'll be a drop in the bucket, but you need 100 drops to fill, to make a little dent. And I think I'm mixing all sort of phrases up here, but I think it's going to happen. They're going to start making a lot of crypto decisions, and it's not just going to be Bitcoin and ETH that they're going to stack. And I think Monono has been a big advocate for Link. I think Link is one of those coins that you should be stacking right along Bitcoin, because they actually have the tech that the banks are going to use, and it's not going to be Ripple. Sorry if you're a Ripple maxi, but Ripple's probably not really a good one. Maybe a little overpriced, maybe not really anything special. I'd check out Link, stay in Bitcoin. ETH is something's cooking with ETH. I don't think Eric Trump would have put that tweet out the other day if there wasn't some big news on the horizon with ETH. I don't think they're that reckless to try to pump a short-term bag. But yeah, man, I think crypto is on the kind of like just waiting. I think we might see some blood, but I think that 24 months, 24 months, we're just gonna see the world change.
Boom, there's the alpha. Gravy's bullish on crypto.
Yeah, crypto.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, I think let's put a nice cherry. Oh, that was a nice cherry on top. A nice roundup. Obviously, everything we say is for entertainment only and not financial advice. Even though he is an actuary, guys, I hope you have got some value out of this week's episode. We do host these spaces every Tuesday night, where we talk about current events, alpha, and market analysis. So, Miles, great to have you on. Great to hear some of your insights, looking at the macro view. Gravy as well. Always a pleasure to kick it. Let me just quickly check on this JAILSTOOL. How are we, up or down since the start of the show? We are down, but hey, it is it. I mean, I just top blasted. It ran to 100 mil, and it's just charts be charting, nothing to worry about. But hey, there are risks in crypto. Do not invest more than you can afford to lose. And stay safe out there. Make sure you check the official sources whenever you're buying a celebrity token or a hot meta, because there are always opportunists in crypto. There are opportunities in crypto, and there are opportunists in crypto. So you have to stay safe. Shout out to you, Monono. Great to chop it up with you in the beginning and hear your link predictions. Gravy, any final closing thoughts? You're muted.
Yes, one final thing. Beanie Maxi, that's his actual handle, BEANIEMAXI. I always get good alpha from him. People shit on him for some things he's done in the past that I think is just normal kind of investment behavior. But he is doing something, and he's going to announce it today. I'm not sure what it is, what it'll look like. If it's an app, he's not going to just like launch some token. It's he said it does not have good market comps, meaning that like there's no good competitor out there for whatever he's launching. So I would just pay attention to his Twitter in the next several hours to observe or take part in what he's up to. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Beanie Max. He's always been provided like really solid takes, even though if he'll poke bears, right? Like he'll put something out there just to like get the conversation going, and I love that. So pay attention. I didn't want anybody to miss that. I've been kind of watching for it all day, and it hasn't happened yet.
All right. Well, I'm sure it will happen when Europe goes to sleep.
Yeah, like 6 hours from now. Yeah.
Yeah, like nice, like 3:30, 4:30 in the morning, like Pico launch time. All right. Well, guys, yes. Thank you everybody for tuning in today. Again, we do host these spaces every Wednesday night. If you've enjoyed what you've listened to, I'm on YouTube now, so like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, it's at Base Junkie on YouTube. This is the GM Radio team. Old Gravy, Monono, Miles with the TA, and your boy Base Junkie. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, but most importantly, stay based. Peace out, everyone.
Gravy kicking off with AI agents on the grind, spitting circuits, flipping scripts, rewiring the mind. Check weight, tsunami calculation so divine, bringing bits and bytes, coded life intertwined. Bass junkie, holding it down with the sound. Current trends gotta spin until the earth ain't round. From flashing the memes, what's hot and what's found, delivering the truth with a rhythmic rich sound. GM Radio, where you get the flow. Gravy Bass Junkie, wanna know it's Chef Yo. Dropping knowledge bombs, watch the wisdom grow. Tune in, lock in, welcome to the show. GM Radio, where you get the flow. Gravy Bass Junkie, wanna know it's Chef Yo. Dropping knowledge bombs, watch the wisdom grow. Tune in, lock in, welcome to the show. Motor know with the crypto, watch the market rise. Blockchain dreams, decentralized skies. From Bitcoin to Ether, catching the eyes. Navigating wallets where the currency lies. Chef cooking up wisdom, sauteing with finesse. Mixing AI trends and crypto success. Flavor packed insights, more than you guess. Tasting knowledge daily, it's a mic finesse. GM Radio, where you get the flow. Gravy Bass Junkie, wanna know it's Chef Yo. Dropping knowledge bombs, watch the wisdom grow. Tune in, lock in, welcome to the show. GM Radio, where you get the flow. Gravy Bass Junkie, wanna know it's Chef Yo. Dropping knowledge bombs, watch the wisdom grow. Tune in, lock in, welcome to the show.